I am Dr. Aparna Jaswal. I am Director in the Department of Cardiac Pacing and Electrophysiology at Fortis Escorts Heart Institute, Oakland, New Delhi. I'd like to share with you as to what is the normal heart rate. So we must understand that within the heart, there is a specialized electrical system that we are born with. We have a natural pacemaker. The natural pacemaker is endowed with the property to give electrical impulses to the heart depending upon the activity that we are in. So what is the normal pulse rate? It is never a single number. We always give a range. So an adult normal pulse ranges anywhere from 60 to 100 beats a minute. When we are resting in a quiet room or we are sleeping, our heart rates can be 60 or even lower. When we are awake, our heart rates tend to be higher. When we are walking or we are exercising, they tend to be even higher. The normal range for an adult during his normal day-to-day routine activities is between 60 to 100 beats a minute. Now, if we were to detect an abnormality and want to understand as to how is an individual's heart rate behaving, there are several modalities. The simplest of all is doing an ECG. An ECG is a 12 to 13 second representation of an individual's heartbeat. It is too small to share with any patient as to what the abnormality can be. So if we want longer monitoring, the simplest is doing a Holter. A Holter is a monitor which is stuck, the electrodes are stuck on the chest wall of an individual, and we can monitor the patient's heart rhythm for as long as 24 hours. If we want to monitor the abnormal heart beating for a prolonged period of time, we have something called ELR, or it is also called an extended loop recorder, which can detect the heart rhythm abnormality for as long as 7 days, 15 days, or even longer. We also have special monitors which we can implant under the skin, and they are called insertable loop recorders, and they can monitor your heartbeat for up to 3 years. And that's how we detect an abnormal heart beating. One must remember that when we exercise, our heartbeat tends to increase. Typically, for an adult, it can go to as much as 120, 130, 150 beats a minute if they are young and they exercise aggressively. You must remember that during an exercise, it is normal for our heartbeats to increase. However, there are certain red flags. So what are the red flags that you should know when you are having an abnormal heart beating? The first red flag is if you notice that you're feeling a little dizzy and your heartbeat is rather low. Low meaning less than 50 beats a minute. So that's the first red flag that you should be aware of. The second red flag on the other side of the spectrum is if you are sitting peacefully and suddenly you see that your pulse rate is racing. It goes from 60 to 150, 180 beats a minute. It tells us that you may have developed abnormal circuits inside your heart. If you also see and you perceive that your heart beating is irregular, it's 60 in a minute and suddenly it becomes 160 and suddenly it becomes 50 and suddenly 120, that is an abnormal rhythm, and it is called atrial fibrillation. So if you see that your heart beating is very irregular, that is another red flag. So this is a message that I wanted to share with you, and you should remember that normal heart beating is what we all desire, and it should remain between 60 to 100 beats a minute.